Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests today, including Jason Strudwick, standing by, sponsored by Bouchard Motors. With your next vehicle purchase, choose this or that. Choose between a $1,000 gas card or a big screen TV. Visit Bouchard Motors, BASANTmotors.com. Delaney's OK Tire in Langley inbox. Just before we get to Jason, people are pretty happy with Rick and I. This is unsigned. Listening to Donnie and Rick talk about music is embarrassing. Please note they don't represent all seniors. These acts are world class. And we're talking about the CFL landing 50 Cent and the Jonas Brothers, and we would prefer something a little bit more in the past. First of all, while I'm close to it being a senior, you're nowhere near being a senior. But
I am getting up there. I'm not a young pup.
But this is unsigned. Hey, unsigned. Music was better back then.
The 80s music was way better.
I don't even think it's an opinion. I think it's a fact.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
The 80s is the best decade for music. Whether you like it or not, I don't care.
60s, 70s, 80s, all of it better than the crap that's turned out right now.
This new stuff is just, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Co-host of the Got Your Back podcast with Ryan Rashog, Jason Strudwick up in Edmonton, and joins us now. Jason, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm good. All right. You can't just leave me. I got to weigh in on that.
Yes, of course.
I read an article one time that says the favorite music of yours is when you were influenced when you're 18, about 23, 24.
That's it.
So that's how it works. So whatever time grape that works out for you, that's what you like the best. So
yeah, I
hear you. The music right now doesn't resonate as much with me as maybe some others, but I'm trying to buck that trend because I don't want to be like two guys saying that the two music today sucks. Like, if you don't like Dua Lipa, like, what are you missing out on? She's amazing.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. There's no way Dua Lipa is better than the B-52s, though, Jason.
But they're the same. It's the same. It's the same thing. And I mean, I like the little B-52s. It's the same. It's just different. I don't know. I just try to Google that. Say, that is when your music is decided between 18 and 25.
Yeah, that is true, though.
But I don't want to be one of these old guys trying really hard to be young. And if I listen to Dua Lipa, maybe that's what will happen. I'm okay with the old stuff.
Who's Dua Lipa? I have no idea.
You guys should log off and just put it on.
80s,
boys.
Yeah. I don't know why I picked the B-52s, but I do like them.
I know.
Hey, can you put into words how much fun your city is having right now?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I think, you go back to that Vancouver series. There was a lot of nerves, right? Game 6 and 7, Canucks were playing well. I mean, Miller was amazing. There's so many great storylines for the Canucks there. But the Oilers find a way, not to mention their number one goalie, Stu Skinner, being taken out of a couple games. Been put back in for those deciding games, so it's huge. And then, no, you can't. All the experts can't beat Dallas. Dallas is too deep. Their goalies are too good. Well, the Oilers found a way, right? The Oilers' depth came through. Their penalty kill has been elite. Stuart Skinner outplayed Ottinger. And I'll say it again. He outplayed Ottinger in that series. He was fantastic. And then Connor and Leon kind of did their thing. But this isn't a one-trick pony. There's many people contributing to this, and I think at the top of that list, I'd put Chris Knoblauch, their coach.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Chris Knoblauch, how much credit? Obviously, a lot of credit you're giving him for the Lions. Where did that come from? I'm looking at this Lions poster next to me. Maybe that what the Oilers are up to, Jason. How much credit does he get, keeping in mind that decision to go with Pickard for those 2 games in the Vancouver series, then going back to Skinner?
Well, let's take it back to game 1 of the regular season. The Canucks spanked the Oilers. They beat them again. Then, was it a night or two later? And then, just to make the times easy, like roughly 4 or 5 weeks later, whatever it was, the coach is fired, and it walks Knoblauch into literally a burning house. This team felt they should go to the cup and compete for the cup, and they were in 31st place, tied for 31st, whatever you want to call it. And he walks in there and just calms everybody down. And that was the start of what Knoblauch has done, his influence. He's a very calm guy. Half the time he's on the bench, I think he's doing the Wordle of the day. And I hear he's quite good at it. So he's just very, very calm on the bench, very relaxed. And that team has taken on his persona where they are like, we believe in what we do. And yeah, he's made some changes and nothing massive, but I think it's just to get them to calm down and do your own job, let others do their job. Now you fast forward to the playoffs and you see against Vancouver, the Canucks, they started with a certain set of lines and they went to the top 3 guys altogether, which I didn't like at the time. I know it produced 1 win, but it was a mess. But then he found the right combination for lines. Move up against Dallas. Same thing. The way the lines start, they didn't finish. They put a line together that I was blown away by. I think it was game 3 or game 4. It was Leon, Harry, and McLeod. 2 players that had sat out are now playing with the best or second best player on the Oilers team on the second line. And it worked because it beefed up their third line. Taking Darnay out, a huge piece of your penalty kill. Again, take him out. I'm like, what? Put Broberg in, unproven in the playoffs, can skate better, moves better. It worked. So, I think for Knoblauch, he's not that guy. He's not John Tortorella or, Rick Tocchet, who's great in the media. He is a calm guy, and he just does things the way he thinks best. And I think his players are really responding to it.
Hey, Jason, we all knew Evan Bouchard was a good defenseman. But man, oh man, he's got 27 points. He's 3rd in the league in scoring. Did you see this coming out party for him? I mean, he's been unreal.
So I always felt his passing, I think he's one of the best passers in the league. And that's playing beside Leon Draisaitl. Like he's an elite passer. And he's so calm on the blue line. So the offense was always there. I always wondered about the defense, the defending. And he has raised his level of defensive play through these playoffs. He outdueled Quinn Hughes. And I'm not on here with the Vancouver group to kind of, chirp him, but he did. He beat him. Heiskanen, he beat him. 2 of the best defensemen in the league, in the world, those 2 guys. I love watching them play. Evan Bouchard stared him down, and it was a better D-man in both series. And it's not just because of the offense. It's also the way he's defending. So Ekholm has a part to play in that for sure, his partner, but he also has to grow. He also is playing harder. We saw in the Vancouver series, he gets into a little kind of wrestling match with Miller, who's a very competitive guy. A year and a half ago, we wouldn't have seen that from Bouchard. He wouldn't have engaged in that. We don't need to be a fighter, but there are times where you have to kind of defend your house, and he's done that. So offensively, yes, I thought it was there, but I'm more impressed and thrilled with the defensive improvement we've seen from Bouchard in these playoffs, these 3 rounds. I
can't imagine winning the Western Conference Final and then being told, Jason, by the way, you got 5 days off. What's going on there, and how is this going to affect both teams? And I know there's guys banged up. Like Evander Kane last night did not look good. He's banged. But talk about the layoff and how do you adjust to that?
Well, I mean, it's the good thing is the same for both teams. Mm-hmm. I think that's really an important thing. But I think we also have to, and I know this isn't the reason, but the distance between these 2 cities is. I remember when I played for the Canucks. We'd fly home from Florida, and you're like, are we there yet? Like, literally, It was the longest flight. So this is a lot of travel. And it sounds like the Oilers are maybe going to leave on Thursday, but that's a full travel day. So if it's, let's say it's, 5 to 6 hours flight, whatever it is, plus 2 hours, that's your whole day's gone. That's 8-9 hours of by the time you get to the airport and get out of there. It's probably more than that, counting the time change, obviously. So it's a really long way. So I'm not so upset with it because of that travel time. It would be nice if it would maybe start a Thursday or Friday, but the NHL got these dates locked in, and off we go. And quite honestly, I think the Oilers fans need a break. I don't know what's going on in Florida, but it has been the last 3 rounds have been so emotional, so much fun to be a part of. I think people have to just sober up and get some sleep before they hit the ground running Saturday.
I don't know if you want to make your prediction, Jason, but what kind of problems do the Panthers present to the Oilers?
Well, they compete. They compete so hard. I've watched a lot of Florida games in these playoffs, and they are so competitive. You even have, a former Canuck, Oliver Ekman-Larsson hitting people. I don't think I don't think he registered a hit in his time in Vancouver. I might be wrong. You guys watch more games than that. He's competing really hard, and so when you have him competing, that tells you the level to which those guys are playing. So I think it's a real challenge. Let's assume that McDavid's line is going to be what it is, and Barkov. That'll be a fun matchup. But, it's pretty even. Then you look at the second line. Let's assume that Holloway and Kane go back up together with Draisaitl against Sam Bennett's line. Again, pretty even. I'll take both centers in that situation, but pretty even. I think it's a third line where things gets interesting. Florida's got a really strong third line. The Oilers have to figure out their third line. Henrique is going to be the center there. He has been such a good addition to the Oilers, such a smart player. I've advocated for the Oilers to get this guy for a number of years. He's there. He's healthy. He's going to play. Who are his wingers? McLeod skates well. At time I'm a little bit concerned about his puck management and decisions, but he can fly. And then Fogle, a 20-goal scorer who, by the way, hasn't played the last 2 or 3 games. Do you put him back in there and say, okay, you're our guys, or do you put Perry on there, or do you move up Connor Brown? Do you Derek Ryan, Carrick? I think that to me the series starts on the third line matchup for the team, because you know what Florida's going to send out. What do the Oilers do?
So that would be Florida in 7.
No, I've got the
Oilers
in 6.
Oh, Oilers
no,
in 6.
I've been public with mine. I say Oilers in 6. I said Oilers in 6 against Dallas. I honestly think that the top 2 centers for the Oilers are the difference maker, the penalty kill, and the power play. I think those are 3 things that are, when you're this tight, the advantage for Florida is that third line. I worry about that, because Lundell's become a really important piece and a really good player for them. The D, they're fairly similar. You look at the Oilers' top pair and compare them to what they've got going on in Florida. It's good, but then you got Nurse. If he plays with an edge, he can bring it. So I really think that third line is the part that wavers, or the advantage to the Oilers I laid out. So I got the Oilers in 6. Yeah, it's probably a homer pick, but you know what? What the hell? It's been a fun run. And, in what is it, 20 days, we'll know who the winner is.
Okay, I'm coming back at you because you criticized us earlier for our taste in music. You say you're not chirping Vancouver. You say you're not chirping Vancouver fans. Take a look to your right there. What's that shot of there?
Yeah.
Messier raising the cup in '94. You do know who they were playing that year, right?
Oh, shots flying.
That's not intentional. That was not intentional. That is really funny. And I wish I was smart enough to have that picture front and center, but I didn't even think of that. That is hurtful. I love Vancouver. That is not what I meant to do.
So many people here. You ask them, who's your favorite ex-Canuck? They say Jason Strudwick, and that's all out the door now.
Out the door.
Not tonight. Not anymore. I'm done. I'm dead to them.
Okay, Jason, thanks for this. We'll get you back on. Thanks so much.
Yeah, enjoy the series, guys.